fuck! Dang it.
It's been a while, CTQ, since we've had you for a review.
Yeah, I've been trying to sleep away the next decade.
So this is, you're probably wondering, why is this not a scripted review? Why is this a review in front of the camera that's not edited? Why is CTQ here? Well, short story is that I was going to write a review for Thor, Love and Thunder, or as CTQ likes to call it,
Thor 4 More Thor.
Thor 4 More Thor. But CTQ and I watched the movie, and he wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I'll let him go first. I think we have, or do you want me to go first? Because we have slightly different, I think we have slightly different opinions on this movie.
I'll let you start.
Okay, I did not like Thor 4 More Thor Love and Thunder. So for those of you who say that I just like every Marvel film, no. I was in Hawaii when the trailer came out, and I was so pumped. I watched it across the seas, and this was probably my most anticipated film of the summer. What a disappointment. I love Taika Waititi. I love Taika Waititi. I love Chris Hemsworth. I love Natalie Portman. I love Christian Bale, Tessa Thompson. This movie, I get it. Marvel films are basically comedies now. And Thor Ragnarok was kind of funny, but even then Thor Ragnarok had some serious moments, or some moments of where they were taking the plot seriously. Every scene, there's like 5 jokes rapid fire, and it's exhausting. I gotta pull my phone out because I took out notes that things that annoyed me with this film.
Oh, you're just taking notes now.
Yeah. I sometimes do that in the theater. I didn't do it this time, I just did it off recollection. Because I went from just thinking this movie was fine, the more I thought about it, I really hated it. And we'll kind of bounce off these thoughts. These are just my quick thoughts, and then we'll go into what you thought. I hate what they did to Zeus. I thought it was cringeworthy. I get it. It's supposed to show that not all gods are noble. And it's kind of, you can argue, supposed to be like Greek mythology, where Zeus is an oaf, but that's even a stretch because Zeus wasn't that dumb in Greek mythology. I mean, debatable. I never read what Zeus was like in Marvel Comics, so maybe he was a simpleton. Because I know his son Hercules was a simpleton. I don't know.
Which isn't quite what he was in the Greek mythology. In the Greek mythology, he was actually clever more often than not.
Yeah. So it's a weird kind of messing around with things. But Zeus was just awful. 2 for 2 Russell Crowe in the comic book movies. Actually, he's better as Jor-El than he was here. Are the Hammers girlfriends or pets? Because I always looked at Mjolnir and Stormbreaker as weapons, not sentient beings. Because Thor whistles to one like a dog. Like, here boy, and then he acts like, oh, there's nothing between us, Stormbreaker. There's nothing between me and Mjolnir. She was my old weapon. You're my new weapon. And then the Stormbreaker will act of its own accord if it's jealous of Thor. So what analogy do you want? And I guess they're sentient now?
I mean, apparently.
Thor is obnoxious. Like, I can't take it seriously. I mean, I get it. Chris Hemsworth was bored playing Thor in the first 2 movies and maybe in the first 2 Avengers films, and Taika Waititi changed him in Thor Ragnarok. But I think the best Thor we've had was in Infinity War. The best version of Thor was in Infinity War, maybe Ragnarok, but it's like Taika Waititi had. It's like, you go. I didn't like the movie. I think there were some good things. Christian Bale was good. Natalie Portman was good. The color palette was good. The music choice was awesome. It's just, it's like one of those awful parody movies by the Aaron Friedberg and Jason, whatever their names were. I don't even remember anymore. I made a rant video about them years ago, where it's reference. It's like reference after reference after reference. Here it's joke after joke after joke, and you just need it to breathe. And with a story that centers around kidnapped children, and the
Yes.
hero can't take that seriously without cracking a joke. I get it. You need to have some levity, but I kind of miss. I don't miss Thor 1, Thor 2, but I miss Infinity War Thor.
Mm-hmm.
You go. Sorry about that. I yield. I'm getting angry thinking about this movie.
To me, it felt like a movie that wanted to have serious elements, but didn't know how. So, for example, spoiler alert,
Yeah, spoilers in this video.
when Jane Foster is dying of cancer, and she could have one last battle if she grabs Mjolnir, and Thor is saying, I don't want you to do this, that'll kill you faster, and I would rather have more time with you. Then I'd rather have more time with you dying than have less time with you. Any time with you at all is better. This could have been a serious scene if it was in a different movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the big impression that I got, that it wanted to be serious, but it didn't know how.
It's like a high schooler is trying to be deep, but isn't, like you said, doesn't know how.
And the elements are there, all the ingredients are there, but it's like putting flour, sugar, milk, and eggs in a bowl and calling it a cake. The next impression that I got is this suffered a lot from Tell Don't Show. Because we literally have Thor saying what he's feeling. Oh yes, I am so broken up by this loss, and I've been keeping other people at arm's distance.
Yeah, he literally does that.
Because, oh, I don't want to be hurt by the loss again. This is something that we're told, but we're not shown this at all, because he's still chilling with Star-Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So we're being shown the opposite of what we're supposedly being told.
Also, as a side note, if you're expecting the Guardians to be in this film a long time, I think no one expected the Guardians to be in this a lot, but just for those of you who wanted to know, they're not in it that long. Just throwing that out there.
Like, I expected at least 5 more minutes out of them.
Oh, really? You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't expecting them to be there that long, but I'm not sure what people were thinking when the Guardians were, with the Guardians being in this film.
Mm. And going back to the high schooler trying to be deep thing, we've got the setup for a theme, but no payoff. So going back to the X analogy for the hammer, we've got Thor supposedly having a hard time accepting loss of Mjolnir, of Jane Foster, and maybe he needs to move on and accept that he's got a new weapon. Except no, that's not the theme, because he gets back with Jane Foster. So is the theme get back with the ones you loved and don't lose them? Well, no, that's not the theme, because Jane Foster does die. Okay, so is the theme then, yes, we move on? Well, no, because he's using Mjolnir again and someone else has Stormbreaker.
No, switch it, reverse it. Same. Well, your point's still the same, though. Your point's still the same.
Yeah, yeah. So, there is the setup for a parallel with Mjolnir and Jane Foster, but it's a disconnected parallel.
Phase 4 has been so... I know this is a broken record because almost everyone's been talking about Phase 4 and how it's just all over the place in terms of quality. This, I don't know where I would rank. This would probably be near the bottom. Not as bad as, like, I didn't like Eternals. Eternals would work if it wasn't a Marvel film, probably.
I think it would work with less characters.
That too. I don't know where I'd rank this. I still think my favorite of Phase 4 is either No Way Home or Shang-Chi. but I'm greatly disappointed. And also, adding on to the show Don't Tell, we're told that Gore is going around killing all these gods, but we've only seen him kill like one god. Like, actually see him kill. We hear of these messages about Gore, they just tell us that Gore is bad.
Well, we see a couple dead gods.
We see some dead gods, but that's it, really.
Yeah. And again, we've got the setup for something deep because he was hurt by gods, he was betrayed by one. So we've got the ingredients for a complex character, but his turn to evil is just
sudden, very sudden.
like, oh, no, you weren't there for me, okay, I'm evil now. It's just instant.
I was hearing negative word of mouth of this film, so I just lowered my expectations a bit. I wasn't prepared for this.
Are you gonna grab a sword now and start stabbing Marvel movies? Oh no, the obsessed movie man. He's obsessed movie man, the movie slayer.
Maybe I'll have a subsection of my. I have a written review for this, but I think this will suffice. It kind of gets out. There's an anime god, or some kind of Japanese god
yes.
in Olympia or whatever it's called. Really, Taika? I like Taika Waititi. I love What We Do in the Shadows. Mm-hmm. I really like Jojo Rabbit, which is the kid with the imaginary friend Hitler. Have you not seen that movie? Or have you heard of it?
I've only heard of it.
Okay.
I was disappointed that it wasn't the right JoJo.
But I don't know what he's. It's like no one. Sometimes restriction is required, and Kevin Feige said this is very much Taika's movie, and it is.
Yeah.
But there has to be a balance between a producer and a director, and I think this is the first time I think Kevin Feige just said, "Do what thou wilt. I'll just let me throw in this just make me sure to throw in this Hercules cameo," which I think we all knew was coming, because Zeus was in the movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm being honest. If it wasn't for Hercules, no, I don't want to see Thor again. Because they're talking about Taika doing Thor 5, and I don't. Chris Hemsworth is a very funny person, but he has to be reined in. Taika is a very creative individual, but he needs to have someone tell him no. It's like George Lucas in the prequels, when no one told George, no, this is a bad idea. No, George, Yoda shouldn't use a lightsaber. No, Taika, you shouldn't have an anime god with all these other mythological gods.
On that note, I'm kind of disappointed we didn't see Bast the Panther God.
Bast the Panther God, no reference to the Egyptian gods. I think they mentioned Horus.
They said Ra would be there.
They said Ra. But,
didn't see any.
I heard
hawk-headed.
They were thinking about mentioning Gore the God Butcher in Moon Knight, like someone's killing all the gods. But they didn't, and I'm glad. I kind of like Moon Knight being its own, being so astray from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Pardon me.
Yeah.
I have nothing else to say. I was very disappointed. This is a quick review. At least I think this is a quick review. It's gone by fast talking about it. I know so I don't want to hear people saying, "Oh, you'll just like everything Marvel." No. I don't. I really don't. I didn't like Eternals. I didn't like Black Widow. I didn't like this. You have anything else to say, CTQ? About this movie? We were both excited for it. We were making jokes. Thor 4, More Thor, which would have been a great excuse to call it Thor 4.
That would have been a better title.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite part is when he looks directly at the camera and says, "Man, I just love thunder," and then he winks.
I thought you were going to say it's Thorbin time.
It's Thorbin time!
What would you rather watch? Thor 4, More Thor, or Morbius? I'm going to still say Thor.
Oh, yeah.
I'd still rather.
Definitely.
Yeah, there are limits. Now the question is, before we end it, is it as bad as Thor 2? Because while they are both bad, they are bad for different reasons.
Yes. It's like a pendulum. Thor 2 is the pendulum swung way to one side. Thor 4, pendulum swung way to the other side. The stability lies in the middle.
Like, Thor 4 is bad for just being way too bonkers. Batman and Robin levels bonkers. I'm serious, it's almost as wacky and almost parody level. Thor 2 is dark, depressing, and bland. Bland as the blandest oatmeal, or Raisin Bran, or Chex, or something like that.
Well, those got some flavor.
I can't remember anything about Thor. All I know is that it had elves, some kind of red mist, which was an infinity stone. The Collector showed up, and Darcy wouldn't shut up. And it was an excuse to... Okay, I know about this about Thor 2. There was a lot of drama because Patty Jenkins was supposed to direct it, and they didn't let her. She left, and Natalie Portman was upset about that, and she said she was done after Thor 2. And
then they paid her more.
And then they paid her more and said they would kill her off if she did one more. And then they were gonna give Thor's main arch enemy Malekith more screen time, but then Loki became popular and all that. I'm rambling on. I think Thor 2 is still worse, just because it's so bland and boring.
Yeah.
But this is probably the second worst Thor film. I'm really angry with how this film turned out. CTQ, any final thoughts?
Can I get back to sleep now?
Yeah, you can go back to sleep. That's all I have for...
I don't want to be awake this decade.
That's all we have for Thor 4, More Thor. I know, Thor, Love and Thunder. If you really need to see it, honestly...
Bring a flask.
We'll bring a flask, but yeah, even then, if you have to see it in the theater, go to a matinee screening. I would say wait till Disney Plus if you have that. Otherwise, just skip it. It's not worth it. Not worth the time. Go see Elvis. Go see. I know it's already out. Go buy Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's so great. Go see Top Gun Maverick. That's still in theaters. And enjoy San Diego Comic-Con next week, where we'll hopefully get some better Marvel projects announced. Do better, Kevin. Do better, Taika. Chris Hemsworth, do better. Anything else?
I don't want to be awake this
Alright, go to bed. Go to bed. Shh, it's okay. Good night, sweet prince. Till then, this is O.M.M. and CTQ signing out.